All right, welcome everyone. My name is Nathan Plug. I get the honor of presenting today. So instead of Phil, who I'm sure most of you on here, well, I'll say all, or else you wouldn't show up. Everyone loves Phil, but it's nice to have a little bit different voice other than monotone magic over there. So I'm excited to share this information. I'm going to introduce myself in a second. And I'm going to pull up my presentation then as well. But today you're going to hear a little bit different information. I know typically it's about insurance and insurance training and carriers, but today we're going to talk a little bit more about marketing and getting more business. And we're going to talk about one specific concept in marketing that we've noticed that most insurance agents don't do well, and we're going to show a way to be able to do that. So, with it said, let me introduce myself. My name is Nathan Klug. I'm the co-founder of Blue Rocket Marketing, and we are the company that has partnered with Phil. I've known Phil for past 5, 6 years now. I still have my license. I've been in the insurance industry for 15 years. Built up two agencies, sold one of them, and then we moved into the marketing space because that's where we saw the most need is, and that most agencies didn't have good solutions for operational awareness and understanding marketing and things like that. And so we've been doing that for the past 6 years. With that said, though, when Phil left the independent, or rather the captive world, over at AIG, he was our rep when we owned one of our agencies for years over there. And when he left, I was always razzing him like, hey, we should, go in business together. Would love to help you out with the marketing stuff. And he finally took us up on that offer end of last year. And then after we figured out really, direction where things were going, the past 3 months is really what we've been working with him on of building his brand and his website. And so if you're seeing some really cool stuff, um, Phil had his hand in that, but that's us putting that together. So I have a partner. His name's Ken McCurry. He's the CEO. He runs all operations, and then we have a team of people that do different aspects to help us with insurance agents. But with that said, today, so that's a little bit about my backstory. I'm going to show a presentation and really talk to you about a concept on the marketing world. And you're going to probably see my face a few more times as we do more and more things together. Again, Phil is phenomenal at the insurance world, but admittedly does not know much about the marketing world. And that's really where we pair really well. So I'm excited to bring that information into these conversations, and also as a resource, just to take a step back as well. If any of you have you know, are interested in marketing or have a question or want to know more or are interested in different tools or services or things like that, we are basically an extension of Valor Financial. Our focus is, and our partnership is helping Valor Financial agents and contracted agents grow their business, their practice, their agency. And so we want to be participating in that. And this is kind of our first, um, with Valor specifically, our first conversation with everyone to get that started. So my job here is to show a really phenomenal concept and idea that can help your business. And we can definitely would love to have a conversation afterwards, one-on-one with anybody that's interested, just to learn more and see how we can help them. But our end focus is having insurance agencies grow. And I'm sure that's why you're all here as well. And that's what we're going to do. So with that said, I know this is a webinar setting. We have a lot of people on here. For this one, we talked to some of our industry contacts as well. So everyone's muted. No one can talk. There is a Q&A section though. So if you do have a question, jump on the Q&A, ask a question, and I will make sure that we address it before the time that we're done. I will have a section for Q&A parts, so just let me know about that piece. And even if it doesn't even have to do directly with what we're talking about, would love to answer different questions as well. Because like I said, our plan is to be on here more and more in different segments, teaching on different marketing aspects so that because I'm sure you guys got the insurance side down. It's really on, well, how do I get more business? How do I get more referrals? All those different aspects. How do I generate more leads? That's literally the number one question that we get. So, with that said, I'm going to share my screen. Um, I'll ask for a little audience participation here and there. So, as I share my screen, if you can just raise your hand really quick, let me know that you see the screen. So, just quick raise a hand. Thank you. Thank you. Great. I'm getting some audience participation right now. Um, I'll wait a couple minutes. Just raise your hands really quick. This is more of a also a test to see if everyone's paying attention as well. All right, I got a couple more. Thank you, everyone. All right, that was a lot better. All right, so what we're going to talk about today um, is what's called win back campaigns. Um, the fancy term, let me actually, I got to fix one thing. Hold on one second. But the fancy terminology or the technical terminology is what's called database reactivation campaigns. So really quick, raise the hands. Has anyone heard of that philosophy before? Database reactivation campaigns. All right, I'm getting no one raising their hand. That is great for me. That means I get to share something that you know nothing about, which is perfect. That's why we're here. Um, if you do end up being familiar with this concept and idea, let me know as I go through it because it's nothing crazy. It's just something that we've noticed in the industry. So my business partner, Ken, he's been in the industry for 20 years. I've been in the industry for close to 15. In talking with insurance agencies and helping them grow and do what we do on our side, it is one of the most interesting things that most insurance agencies don't do this activity. And we're going to walk through it, but I know this was more rhetorical. Many of you, I don't know how long you've been in the industry for, but when you got your license, they taught you about marketing, right? And how to run a business and how to grow an agency. I'm joking, of course, because we all know that 99.99999% of the information that we learn in the class and the tests have nothing to do with what you actually need to do in real life. Um, so the reality being is that although it's interesting, it's happens across the board to almost all agents or agencies at one point in time because they have to wear all the hats. And so that's why even something as simple as what I'm going to go over of doing a win back strategy, turning your dormant data into dollars. This isn't going to be mind blowing, I'll tell you, but it's just a simple activity that a lot of people aren't doing that is going to be super important that you can implement tomorrow and get new business right away. So really quick raise of hands. If I can show you a way to make more money, get new business, generate more leads for your business, is that exciting for anyone here? Just raise the hands really quick. All right, perfect. Then I'm in the right place. I'm getting a bunch of people raising their hands. Um, because I know, like I said, that is the number one question that we get asked. So when I come on and do these sessions, my goal is always going to be to teach you a way or strategy or a concept that you can implement that would generate more leads. All right, so Winback, the whole concept of the benefits of it is Winback enhances, replaces your existing lead gen. It's lower cost and higher ROI and unlocks revenue with quick and effective messaging. So the whole phrase, the dorky phrase that you can store in the back of your brain is turning dormant data into dollars. All right. So really quick, again, raise of hands. How many of you have been in the business for more? Well, let's do it a different way. Go ahead and put in the chat. How long have you been in the industry for? That'll be easier in this. How long? Just throw in the chat. Send it over to us to me. How long have you been in the industry for? Okay. So 3, 5, 2, 8. I'm getting a whole bunch of different answers. That is perfect. And all right, whatever reason it wasn't letting me move forward. Okay. So this is what we see typically happen with people that have been in the industry just even over 2 years. Most people, that you now have data that you haven't been using. Um, or you have people that haven't bought from you, or you have people that have bought you from you, but you haven't communicated with them in a little while. That's what we mean by dormant data. I'm not talking about new leads or anything like that or cold stuff. I'm talking about you are having conversations with people all the way, you collect information from them. Not all of them move forward, or the people that do move forward, you now have clients that you haven't talked to maybe for a year, 6 months, 2 years, and things like that that you sold in the past. Most agents don't have a system to be able to help them communicate with those people. So, what we're going to cover is the gold mine you're overlooking, which is your dormant data. We're going to talk about how you can turn that data into dollars. We're going to talk about the power of text messaging for a little bit, just because that's a super important platform, just because of its open rate. We're going to talk about measuring results, and then we'll talk about next steps at the end of if anybody wants help implementing it. All right, so I'm going to throw out some statistics that aren't going to mean, we already know this, probably many of us, but really 14 times greater success. The probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%, while to a new prospect is 5 to 20%. So it is proven at this point that if you already have some form of relationship with a client, you are more likely to close that person than if you were to try to go out and get a brand new prospect. That's why this whole concept of taking your dormant data and actually doing something with it is so important. And I'm going to give some examples in a little bit. Um, Harvard Business Review did a study on increasing customer retention. And it was an interesting study within the concept of if you can increase your retention by 5%, it increases profitability by up to 95%. Because it is much easier now, I know for us in insurance, especially life insurance and annuities, if you're taking the full amount up front. Life insurance, a lot of the renewals aren't terribly exciting, but if you keep a client happy and that retention is able to increase your profitability tremendously, because going back to the other side, it's much easier to sell an existing client or an existing relationship than a brand new one. So that's why, having a strategy and having something to uh, talk to those clients, talk to your dormant data, people that you've already established relationship with is so important. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can be able to do that. And what I mean is there's dollars in your data is all of these different things are ways to communicate and talk with your clients. So really quick, how many raise of hands, how many people are using some form of a CRM system? And an Excel spreadsheet does not count, okay? An actual software that you have a database, you put your clients in, take notes and things like that. You can send messages out. Um, how many people actually have a software, customer relationship management software? Okay, I only getting a couple people. So that's a huge opportunity. I'm not going to go through each one of these, by the way. That's going to take too long. But CRM systems are one of the most powerful ways to be able to store information, make notes on it, and then make follow-up tasks and things like that, especially if the CRM system has the ability to do automation, which is a really big word, in especially over the past few years with AI and things like that. CRM systems super important. Um, and to take a step back in the context of every single one of these are just some areas in which you may have done things with or have stored data that you may not be doing anything with. So CRMs, email lists, sales records, like when you sell a policy. One of the places that we work with, as an example, one of their main carriers is Columbus Life. They have close to 1,000 clients um, with Columbus Life. They had taken none of that data previously when they were selling that person and stored it someplace. So now they went back to Columbus Life and asked them for, all the applications and the policies and things like that, and are now scraping the data that's on there so that they can put in their CRM so they can give them better communication on a regular basis. So sales records, old policies, grab that stuff up. There's data on there that you're probably not doing anything with. Abandoned carts, this is more of a store philosophy, but or online when people are going to purchase something. But social media followers, there's way to scrape that data, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, or groups that you're in, or things like that. People that have some form of relationship with you. QuickBooks, website analytics, event attendees. So if any of you are doing seminars or webinars or things like that, there's an attendee list. That information, a lot of people just put it to the side. They don't store that and they don't do anything with it afterwards. That's another place to be able to get old dormant data. Past quotes that you've, like an illustration that you saved or things like that. Those are great ways to, especially if you put a little bit of information on it, to get anybody that inquired about something, any lead magnets that you put out there. There's a lot of different things you can do on that end, but um, survey participants, if you did a survey, and one of our most successful things that we did as an agency years ago was at one point in time, we had over 100 agents in our agency that we grew within 90 days. And what we had every person do when they came in new is they went out and talked to 20 people and they had a survey. And it was non-confrontational. Of course, it was the idea to lead them to an appointment afterwards, but it asked them really great questions that most of the people that they were talking to hadn't thought of. And this was in their, again, at least acquaintances of people that they knew, and they were just calling up and saying, "Hey, I just joined a new firm, and right now the first thing I'm doing is kind of doing a survey just to get a feel of, what people think about finances." And people were super open to that. That information, we've done surveys in the past, there's data there. Product trials and demos, affiliate networks, that's another big one. So if you have any networks or other people, or you're part of a BNI group or things like that, or Chamber of Commerce, landing pages, offline sources. Some of you still have a Rolodex or a paper calendar or things like that. Your calendar, when people book appointments with you, so like tools like Calendly or things like that. And point of sale system doesn't apply as much to us, but in the insurance world. But if you have anything like that, or when you're with them on your phone, you're collecting information. There are tons of different places that you have data that is just out there. That is the first step in this process, is finding where your data is. I give one last example of, this is a lot of data, but one of the other places that we work with is a tax office that also does insurance. They do most of their insurance through by talking to uh, the people that come through the tax stores. They have 8 different stores, but the data that they had and collected over the years, again, wasn't really organized really well. They had over 100,000 pieces, people and contacts within their, after we collected all of that. It's amazing. Now that's, like they have 8 stores, they have a lot of people and stuff like that, but it's amazing when you actually search through all the old stuff, how much data you can find. This is the most important piece. I'll give one definition too. So a lead is all it is contact. That's so a name with contact information. Doesn't matter what that contact information is, their Facebook page, LinkedIn page, their phone number or email or anything like that. It's just some way to communicate with that client. Now, the goal is to turn that lead into an engaged lead. But finding that lead data, that's one of the most important activities you can do. It is also for most people one of the most boring activities. Data management, unless you're an engineer or you're that person that really loves that stuff, data management for most people sucks. Um, Really quick, raise of hands so I can keep you guys active. Um, how many people just absolutely hate doing data management? Just figuring out where to store data and do all that stuff. I mean, I'm going to raise my hand. I'm one of them. I do not enjoy that stuff at all. I would much rather have somebody else do it. There we go. There's a few other hands. Yeah, and now I don't want to disqualify them as saying that there are people that absolutely love that stuff. It is important, but for most agents, it's a boring activity that they don't see the direct ROI in it, so they don't typically do it well. So that's one of the most important steps, finding where your data is at. Okay, then we go on, and we want to turn that data into dollars. So this is just, there's systems to be able to do that. So I'm going to take a step back in here and just talk about a couple of simple ways that you can implement. So all of you have your phone. You all have the ability to text people. Um, Excuse me. Um, Email is, of course, another big one. I will say texting is the best form of being able to communicate and at least get someone's attention. Not communication with, I mean, you don't want to text back and forth, try and sell a policy. That's crazy sauce. Unless you're selling like a simple term or things like that, and someone requested a quote. But outside of that, getting someone's attention, texting is the best way. If I remember correctly, the open rate for texts is at 86%. Whereas email is still, depending on the different marketplaces, whether it's cold email or warm email, I mean, you're more around that 2 to 20% open rate. So that's a big difference, 86% to 20% even. Um, Texting is one of the best forms to do that. So talking about systems and things that you can use to make that happen, ideally, that's what a CRM system helps you do, is be able to communicate with those clients and talk to them on a regular basis. So I'm not going to get into that too much, but there's lots of different ways you can have those conversations. Um, I kind of jumped ahead. I knew this slide was here, but basically the idea of texting, we're going to talk about at the end. We're going to talk about some practical offers and things like that that are going to make sense. But um, I want to give one example of, we worked with someone and um, they had about just under 500 pieces of data points. So they had 500 contacts. These were people that they worked with over the past couple years. Agents only been in business for um, just less than 5 years, and we put together a campaign for them. And we, of course, what you're seeing is actually our system. But we sent out 100 uh, 100 text messages. Excuse me, goodness gracious. And within 49 seconds, we already had gotten someone reply yes to that offer. This is why text campaigns are so important. And really quick, raise of hands. Are any of you implementing texting SMS within your platform? And what I mean by that, your cell phone does not count, because that's manual stuff. But is anybody, getting into that sophistication level where they've got a CRM or a marketing platform that is able to send text messages out to people? All right, I'm not getting any hands raised on that. All right, that's a great opportunity that you're missing out on. And oh, I got one person. Awesome. So huge kudos to you. That's a big deal. Being able to have a platform that sends text out um, just increases your ROI tremendously, especially if you're using it on a regular basis. So we have ways to be able to help implement that. But if you're not doing texting, you need to get on that bandwagon, especially with everything that's been going on. So I'm not going to go. I mean, this is another example of someone that we worked with. Um, the idea of taking dormant data, putting it into a campaign, and creating an ROI from it. Really quick, put in the chat for everyone that's here. You may not know this number as an average, but if you were to make one sale, um, and with whatever your main product is, whether it be IUL, whether it be annuities, whether it be a term case, but if you were to make one sale, how much would that one sale make you? So go put that in the chat really quick. Um, and what is one sale going to make you? All right, I got $600. I got another one with 1,000. I got another one at 4,000. I got another, 500. So between, I mean, 5,000 to 4,000 is the answers that I'm getting, which is a great range. Um, that number and thinking about what it means for your average sale to make means that think of the activity and how much time to put into this. Of if you spent 5 hours to do this and this created an extra 10 sales, is that time worth it? And I would say all day, absolutely. That's why doing activities like this is so important because, for this person, um, they were doing a mix of some products, but they were mainly in the annuity space. And we took some old data that they had that they weren't utilizing for anything. And literally, this wasn't like a huge database. This was 300 people, and we sent out uh, a campaign just over text, and throughout that generated about $92,000 of um, we call it lifetime value, but really of commission for doing a database reactivation campaign, which costs almost nothing besides depending if you're using a platform to be able to do that, is the software cost and things like that. I'm being able to make that happen. Now, full transparency, we're all salespeople here. Of course, we have a software that is able to do that. So that's the whole idea of us sharing this information is we would love to have a conversation about how we can help you. That's full transparency of why we do this, why we're teaching this stuff. But at the end of the day, you can take these strategies and you can implement them, and you don't have to use any of our software or any of our marketing stuff. So feel free to do whatever you want with it. But there's tons of success in that field of doing a database reactivation campaign and making money from it. Like I said, that's a big deal, and that's something that most people, especially if you've been around in business for just a little bit, aren't doing. So I'm just gonna do a brief recap, and then what I want to do is I want to talk about some um, actual value propositions and things that you can do and messages that you can take with you to actually send a text message out. And like I said, you can do it manually, or send an email, or send a Facebook Messenger, or send a LinkedIn. So we'll get there afterwards of some practical stuff, but the effects on your bottom line of doing database reactivation win back campaigns, especially if you're doing on a regular basis, is it increases in customer lifetime value, it improves ROI across all marketing channels, it strengthens your customer loyalty. You end up getting more word of mouth referrals because even if you don't get that person, but they're interested in that concept and idea, you can ask for referrals. You also can get more reviews and testimonials. Maybe you do campaign just to ask for reviews and testimonials, consistent growth, and more predictable returns. Because with a new lead, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with a new lead. So that's just from a overarching concept, what I want to talk about with database reactivation in general. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about and um, get some practical things into your hands of things that you can utilize to actually bring someone back um, to a conversation. So, um, and I'm going to ask for a little bit more audience participation on this because this is really where um, where you're going to shine, and also where to see where everyone's at and what they're thinking of, what offers can they make. So before I give some of my stuff, um, let's go back and we're going to do a text message. Now, the idea of a text message, short and sweet. You're literally looking for about 2 to maybe 4 sentences, um, and that's it. So, and the first sentence is just, "Hey, this is," and um, so you say who you are. Then you, of course, put their name into you, put their name into to it as well. Then you say the next piece is um, your offer, basically. Hey, I'm offering XYZ thing. That's what we're going to talk about in a second. Now, because we're in the insurance world, we're restricted. Like we can't offer discounts, we can't offer rebating, we can't offer um, money up to a certain amount or things like that. So none of that stuff we can do. But there's so we have to get a little bit more creative about the messaging that we do. But first sentence is just introduction, who you are. Say, hey, it's been a long time. If you have one unique thing about them or a note that you have, or something that you can ask, say, how are so and so, or how's your wife, or how are the kids, or anything like that. That's something you can add into that intro. The next line is your offer, and then the last line is your call to action. What do you want them to do? And that's the construction of a text message that's going to bring people back to the table. Super simple. Um, the quote unquote complex stuff that you can do is how you monitor that and how you drip on that person afterwards, and then send that message, and then a day or two later send a different message, and then another message and another message until they respond and say, stop texting me, or hey, thank you so much for reminding me, I'd be really interested at this time. So that's the complex stuff. But from a simplicity standpoint, all you're doing is sending out one message. All right. So before, like I said, I give some of the stuff that we've done. Type in the chat. Think of one thing, and don't worry about the first message. Just think of the offer that you can do, and the call to action that we're going to do for everyone is booking like a 15-minute call, because that's what you want to do. You want to bring them back to the table. You want to have a conversation with them, but from that perspective of what can you offer, I want to hear from everyone. Put in the chat or the Q&A, wherever you want to do it. What could you offer to get someone to have a conversation with you? And remember, these are old data. So you've talked with this person at some point, um, but you haven't talked to them for a while. So what can you offer? And I'm not going to say anything right now. I just want to see what everyone comes up with, and then I'm going to give you some of my ideas. So like I said, put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A, put it anywhere. What could you offer? And I will give you categories if to help out. So there's usually 3 categories of what you can offer. You can offer perfect, as someone's got it already, one already, but um, you can offer a physical item. So a flashlight, a coin, or things like that. So a physical gift, special knowledge, or you can offer somebody else's stuff. So those are the usually 3 categories in which create a good offer is physical gift, special knowledge, or somebody else's stuff. So um, we've got one person that said free portfolio evaluation. Absolutely. That is an easy one that everyone can do, and that's you can translate that to lots of different things. So free portfolio evaluation, free policy review, free financial analysis, um, free current analysis of portfolio evaluation. There's lots of ways you can word it. But anything within that category, that is a great one to be able to offer. Um, and I know one of the agents that I work with, he does a lot of that, and he does a lot of free work for people that are working with other advisors or other financial advisors. and he gets tons of business because no one actually seems like no one's actually following up and caring about that. So the other financial advisor, the other agent isn't explaining things, they're not following up. And he comes in and says, "Hey, I'm just going to walk through this and say, here's what you have for free." One of the other examples that he gave recently was that he had a client come to one of his seminars, booked an appointment, and she had already a couple annuities, but she had no idea what they did. And one of them was an income annuity. He explained how it all worked. It wasn't even, he didn't sell it. He got no benefit of it. But because he did that, he ended up getting two referrals of people that were in the exact same situation. And there may be some money that's opening up for this lady that she's probably going to come back to him for. So free evaluations. Anybody else? What else can you think of what you can offer that would bring someone to book an appointment with you? And I mean, the first one was one that I was going to talk about. So um, don't steal all my thunder, but I'm going to wait for like one or at least one or two more answers. I just want to see what everyone else is thinking. So again, what can you offer? Physical gift, special knowledge, somebody else's stuff. Those are usually the three categories. What can you offer to get someone to book an appointment with you, and craft that message? Yep. Free review of your existing portfolio. That's another perfect one. So you guys are definitely, I'm going to see if somebody comes up with one more of, so free review, free portfolio. Again, the other one that I kind of added within that is a free financial needs analysis, or whatever you want to call them. There's lots of different phrases you can go over of what a financial needs analysis is. Okay. Since audience participation is dying, um, financial knowledge, absolutely. So it could be a tip or a trick, or hey, um, have you ever wanted to know about infinite banking? Have you ever wanted to know about how an IUL works? Um, there's lots of different things on that side that you can do um, as well to have those conversations. So, all right, perfect. And thank you so much for Netra. I saw that was you. So for putting two of them in there. Let me go over a couple other ones that are things that are of value that you can offer. Now, some of these, a couple of them I'm going to go over are going to be things that you actually have to pay for. But if you bring someone to the table and sell it, it's definitely worth it. There's other stuff that are 100% for free. So one of them, and one of my buddies in the marketing world, he does LinkedIn marketing, does this amazing. He has a whole system for it. But um, one of his basic offers is a book. So has anyone ever heard of David McKnight or Patrick Kelly? Perfect. I'm getting some raised hands. So tax-free retirement, alert before you leap. There's a bunch of different great books that are out there. Um, and uh, those are books that you can send on Amazon. So what they found is the best way is not if you give an ebook or anything like that. Ebooks they don't get as much of the ROI, but basically you say, hey, I'm offering a free book, and um, that book um, should be something that pertains to finances and is very clear on what it can do with them. So one of the books that uh, my buddy has had the most success with um, is The Power of Zero by David McKnight. So hey, I'm offering um, a free book called Tax Free Retirement by David McKnight to anyone who just books a conversation with me. And then what you do is you get to, you can either book the qualification or you can put a qualification on it as well. Hey, uh, hey, Netra, hope you're doing well. I'm offering this really cool thing. I'm offering a book for anybody that books appointment with me to have a conversation about their finances. Um, is that something that you would want to do? If so, here's if you want the free book, here's my link, schedule a time, and then I'll send you the free book after a conversation. And what ends up happening from that is, like I said, you get a conversation and it costs you maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks to get that conversation and bring someone back to the table, especially if it's for the right client, if it's an affluent or a higher net worth client. Spending that 15 bucks to buy the book and get it sent to them through Amazon or something like that, totally worth it, because you wouldn't been able to get that conversation back. Another way, if you just maybe called and called and called. So that's number one. Um, is this is something that we've done, we've offered, it works, it's successful. So booked, and like I said, tax-free retirement is one of the better ones. Sorry, The Power of Zero. Tax-free retirement is Patrick Kelly's book. That's another good one that's out there as well. There's a bunch of others also, but in that context, something that teaches about that, and they're getting it for free just for having a conversation. We already talked about free evaluations, free financial needs analysis, free for portfolio reviews, free policy reviews, anything within that category. Those are great offers. And again, that's all it sounds like is, hey, Nathan, um, hope you're doing well. I'm doing um, I'm offering free financial needs analysis for anyone that I've spoken to in the past. Wanted to see if that would be something that you would want to do. If so, here, let's have a short conversation first. Here's my um, scheduling link. And then whether you're using Calendly or our software Leadbase or just your Google Calendar, or you're saying, hey, call them back, that's the call to action. And that's all it is. And then you create some other messages that are like that afterwards and say, hey, I don't know if you got my free offer. I wanted to see if that was still something that you wanted to take me up on. So pretty simple stuff. One of the wordings, and I'll type this out for everyone real quick, is when you're doing a text offer, and I'm reading this off, is, hey, I'm running a cool thing, whatever your cool thing is. I'm running a book offer. I'm running a webinar. We'll get to webinars in a second. And then put a time frame on it for the month of October, for the month of November, for the next 2 weeks. And I'm looking for, um, uh, and then what you do is you explain the type of client you're looking for. I'm looking for people that um, are about to retire. I'm looking for people that want to learn more about life insurance. I'm looking for people that just had a baby. I'm looking for people that just got married, um, that want, and then give them the results, that want to feel secure about their finances, that want to make sure that their family's protected. Um, in the next, and then again, time frame of the next 30 days. Interested. So I'm going to type that out. So um, let me type this out to everyone. This is something you can copy and paste, and I'm just going to give it in um, the context, and then we can use an example. But it's I'm running, and then whatever your cool thing is. So your cool thing in which month? And I am looking for, describe your client that wants X result in the next time frame. And then you just say interested, schedule a call. All right. All right. Just really quick to make sure everyone got it, raise of hands. Did you just get the chat that I just sent? All right, good. All right. Enough people raise their hand. That means they're seeing it. So that's what it is. Um, is that's one format that you can use is ideally, you put your name up front. Hey, I'm running cool thing, whichever it could be. Now, I'm going to add a couple of cool offers that you could do. I'm giving away a book. I'm doing a webinar on something. So webinars are a big thing that where you're giving away free information that's interesting to them. So I'm teaching on how you can retire tax free. I'm teaching on life insurance. You want to be on that. I know that's a boring topic, but I'm teaching on whatever the subject is. But I'm running whatever your cool thing is, whatever your offer is, in which month usually works out better, but that gives them a time frame of you're only doing it for a certain period of time. So it creates urgency. So I'm doing this in the month of October, and I'm looking for, and then you describe your ideal client, because even if it's not them, they may know somebody. This is another way you get referrals from that, is I'm looking for people aged 30 to 40. I'm looking for people that are, whatever it is, describe your ideal client and think of the result that they're looking for do, whether it be peace of mind, protect their family, grow their assets, whatever it is, think of the end result. And then the last piece is the time frame that they're going to get that result in. Now, that's a little tougher for us to do sometimes. So you can take that one off if what you're doing is doesn't have that exact time frame or has a much longer time horizon. But ideally, what you can still say you can provide the result and provide the solution in that time period. So in the next 30 days, and then just say interested, and then schedule a call here, and then ideally you should have a scheduling link that they can just click on and automatically schedule with you. That makes it super easy. All right, so that's a good format for that conversation of being able to talk and create a text, and you can convert that into um, um, an email as well. You can take this and convert this into a LinkedIn message. You can convert this in to a Facebook message. So um, this works really well. Like we run this all the time for what we're doing multiple times, and I can tell you it's effective. The premise is it's helpful if they know you a little bit, or that you had, like I said, turning dormant data into deeds, but you can convert this into something that's for someone that you don't even know either. So use that really quick before I jump into some last minute helpful stuff. Was this helpful? Was that phrase, that phraseology and just thinking about, how to turn dormant dollars into dormant data into the leads? Um, is that helpful? Cool. I got a couple people raise their hand. Great. And if it's not, be honest with me. I'm totally good with it. My whole design is I'm looking for things that we can teach on and I can teach on that are going to be of value to you. And sometimes I'm going to hit it out of the park. Sometimes it'll be a foul ball. Um, or I get struck out. So I'm good with that out of the way. This is something we want to grow. And like I said, we have a good sized audience here. We want more people to get this information and share it within this context so that you can take, yeah, the whole idea is that if you can take some of the information that we share, actually implement it, and then come back and say, I implemented this and this is how it helped my business, that would be the greatest thing for us. That's what we're really all about. All right. So that's one of the great formats of what you can do. You can think about other offers as well, but I kind of give you a few is free evaluation, so special knowledge stuff, um, portfolio, policy review, whatever. Second one was that physical gift of um, uh, a, a book or something like that. Books work really well, especially for the type of clientele that you're probably looking after of um, that they are interested in knowledge and information. Third one that from a category standpoint, because we talked about gifts, we talked about special knowledge, is other people's stuff. Is that's something that you can do as well too. So other people's stuff, as a good example, is um, Mutual of Omaha or Ameritas, I believe, both of them. They offer a free business evaluation. So that's something that's really powerful. So you're offering somebody else's stuff. It's not even yours, but it's somebody else's stuff that you can offer to the right clientele. And you can say, hey, especially for the right client, you're talking, get a list of businesses that you've been working with in the past or know people that are business owners and entrepreneurs. Hey, um, I'm offering, like I said, it's still somebody else's stuff, but I'm offering a free business evaluation in the month of October for any of my clients that are entrepreneurs or business owners that want to know what their business is worth in the next 30 days. Business valuations sometimes take a little bit longer, so maybe 45, 60 days, but interested. And then schedule a call and you get a conversation with them. You collect the information, you put that into Mutual of Omaha, you get the report back, then you spend the time to sit down with them. And Mutual of Omaha and most places that have a business department um, would actually even have one of their experts come with you to that meeting online and explain stuff if you about the business valuation, things like that. So there's other things out there that you can offer that are other people's stuff as well. Um, that works really well. But those are the three categories: physical gifts, special knowledge, and then other people's stuff. And carriers, I know most of it is junk, but sometimes carriers offer some really great things that you can utilize for free to give to your clients. That is really valuable. So I'm sorry, one other idea that I forgot about is PDFs too, like especially from carriers. Or you make one yourself, make a PDF, say, hey, if you schedule this meeting, I'll give you a free PDF on this subject. Or a free small booklet if it's, a booklet or a pamphlet or a brochure that's a few pages long. All right, done on that end. I want to stay on time. I don't want to keep you on going afterwards. So last offer then from our end, and I'll put this in the chat too, so that everyone has it, is then if anyone wants to have an individual conversation with myself, talk more about database reactivation or any marketing stuff, I would love to do that. And I'm gonna give everyone 30, 30 minutes. So I just put in the chat, that is my 30-minute link. If anybody wants to have a conversation, whether it be about this or just marketing in general or different ideas, or a free session, because you work with Phil, whether you're, brand new working with Valor, Valor Financial, or you've been working with Valor Financial for a little while now, that's one of our offers is that we want to be helpful. I promise I'm not selling you something within it, depending on what you're looking for. This is a free marketing conversation and just to get to know many of you and see if there's anything that we can do to legitimately help you grow your practice. So would love to, if anybody took me up on that offer, um, that's my meeting link. Just click on it or save it and then schedule a time. Would love to have a conversation. But with that said, this is recorded. For those that don't know, Phil is actually, he won a nice cool trip to London. Um, so he is out there with the family. He's going to be back early next week. I may be jumping on next week as well to a training. We'll do a completely different subject. Um, but I'm really looking forward to that. Tiffany, you are very welcome. Glad to help out. With that said, we're going to jump off. Everyone had a great rest of the day. I'm looking forward to the next time. Hopefully it's next week. We will see. Depends a little bit on Phil's schedule, but if you can do me one other favor before everyone jumps off, just if you can write, and I'm actually going to give everyone my email as well. If you can do me a favor and give me some honest feedback on if this was actually helpful. I just put my email in there. Be as blunt as you want. Like I said, our whole design for doing this is that we can help you grow. If there's some different subjects or things like that that you'd like to learn about, I would love to hear from you. So my email is down there. Feel free to shoot me a message or just schedule that time. We can talk about it then as well. But with that said, everyone have a wonderful rest of their day. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on another time, and we will talk later. All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.